Okay, so
Okay, I'm recording now.
okay, got it. Okay, so I wanted to let everybody know that we just sent a brief this week. We got it from our lawyers. We were due for the brief, and the brief is just a full explanation of what and why we are appealing the hearing of, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was July the 25th, which is where we went to Doña County, the commissioners, and they denied us to proceed with Santa Teresa as a city. So we first had to file an appeal, which is a one-pager. It was filed in August, and we had about 30 days after that to really explain why and why we thought that we needed and we wanted to appeal. That brief was submitted yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It is about a 14, 15 page where it gives a full explanation of why and more reasons as to why we want to be a city and why we feel that the commissioners denied us this opportunity. So this particular brief, and we already have a hearing set for January, if I'm not mistaken, and that is with the Third Judicial Court of Las Cruces. And I believe that Esther already has I think it's a copy of that up for everybody to look at it and mark and set the date and time so you guys can join and hear our lawyers argue the case in our favor. I believe it's January, am I correct, Esther? What day is it?
January 11th at 2 p.m.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so if I know that we have maybe 5 or 6 participants, but if you can mark that date and that time on your calendar, it will be a Zoom as well. So I know Esther has put it up in our web page, so you guys can definitely make a copy, put it in your refrigerator, and have it as a set date so you can jump into the Zoom meeting from the Third Judicial Court as well.
It's actually a Google Meets. So it's a Google.
Oh, it's a Google?
Meets. Yep, it's a
Okay.
Google Meets.
And
But
they do have the website, right? And yeah, okay. Next on the agenda is I'm sorry, can you help me, Esther, on that one?
Sure. It's goals and timelines from now until the court hearing.
Okay. And I think that the goal is to really, I guess, to really let everybody know, all of our neighbors know what we're doing and why we are doing what we're doing. If there is anybody that thinks, well, the streets are not being, the roads are not getting fixed. Well, the roads will only be fixed when we become a city. The goal is, and the timeline is to.
Whoops.
Our first, I guess, project for the city is to really get the artery roads fixed. Now we're talking about $6 million, which none of us have right now. Not even Greg Collins has, but we do have some, I guess, grants that are being looked at, and they have been looked at. And I have spoken with some senators for New Mexico and some representatives that once we become a city, they are more than happy to help us to get those monies to fix that particular item on the agenda. Any more questions?
So
No.
So the next item on the agenda is an update on the road repairs. So I had a neighbor saying they weren't too sure who was actually repairing the roads. Do you have an update on who exactly was repairing
Yes.
those roads?
The roads are being repaired by the Santa Teresa Association, which is run or was created by Craig Carpenter. He had an amount of $7,000 or $6,000, if I'm not mistaken. So he's using what he has only to patch, and that's certain areas of the roads, not all. Not everything is going to be patched, and that because there's no money. At least that's what he claims. So he chose certain areas, I guess the ones that he thought were more important, and those are the ones that are being patched by him and by the funds that were sent to him by the residents.
Okay. Does anybody have questions about the roads?
No.
We have more people coming in. Mary,
Yes, good evening. This is Robert Salcedo. I live out in Sunny Ridge. So in reference to the roads, and I know Mary said that a gentleman by the name of Mr. Carpenter had some funds, 7,000, I think is what she said, if I heard her correctly. So is that those funds generated from residents? Is there a itemized
Yes.
listing? I mean, how do we know what is being paid out and how much is still in the fund, if anything? And is there an email or a point of contact to, if we want to
Yes.
continue to fund that that process?
I believe that that project started about 3 years or 4 years ago. And a lot of people, I guess not a lot of people started donating, only a few. So he collected only a certain amount. After that, of course, people don't donate or don't give anymore. So he only had about $6,000 or $7,000. And because nobody started to give anymore, or they forgot about the project, he needed to, I guess, spend the funds because as an association, you have to definitely keep that money going. You can't just keep it. So he had to use those monies or those funds to do something with it good for the community, which is what he promised. And that's what he used it for the roads. And that's what he's spending that money on. As if there are anything left, I really don't know. But Esther, can you help me on that? I believe I put out his number and his email where you can contact him, Mr. Salcedo, if you like.
Okay, thank you. The other question I had, I'm sorry, the other question I had is in reference to, are you or Esther in touch with the presidents of the associations that are throughout the Santa Teresa communities? For example, the Sunny Ridge and Paseos and all those?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question? I had the puppy, the lady who took my puppy already.
Yeah, no, I understand. So
I'm sorry.
my question was, are you or Esther in touch with the presidents of the associations that we have throughout the community?
Oh,
So that they can
yes.
also put out information. I know I do, and actually that's how I was able to get some of the information from them. But well, from my president of my association from Sunny Ridge. But I don't know if the other ones are doing the same thing or not, to get the word out of what you just, finished trying to convey to us.
Oh, okay. I think that I have had other people contact me and to let me know that what is going on. So I've allowed and told them, and I've sent or emailed phone numbers and addresses where they can contact Craig Carpenter. And as for the presidents and association, I've already let a lot of I have already sent and contacted the presidents.
So I do believe there's a list out there that has all the contacts for the associations. We can email them to you if that's okay, Mary. Can we provide that information to others?
Oh, yes, I would assume so. That's public.
Okay, so Robert, we can gather that list and.
Well, I was just gonna give you kind of like a brief.
Oh,
update.
let me
Yes.
put you on mute for a little while. Can you explain that, please?
Sure,
Esther?
and we can send that to you, Robert.
Okay, Esther, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep, I'll have, I think Betty, Betty might have that list.
Okay, thank you.
Mary's dealing with a sick puppy at the vet, emergency vet. So the next agenda on our list is the neighborhood fundraising events, ideas, developing committees to make this, to generate funds and make this cause an awareness for everybody in the Santa Teresa area. So I believe in the last meeting, they were going to create a enchilada dinner, but I'm not too sure where that's at. If anybody has any kind of ideas that we can use, that would be great. And it's just an open discussion, so.
Again, this is Robert, Esther. Are we able to use the the Santa Teresa Fire Department facility or house as the location to gather and or to sell or just to convey the message to the community?
So in one of our earlier meetings, we had that discussion, and I believe the fire department chief did not want to do any kind of meetings there because it was political, and he didn't want that to happen there. So we do have to find a new place for this. Is that correct, Daryl? I believe you were in that meeting as well.
I don't remember, Esther, on that.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, but I believe that the fire department did not want to get involved. They wanted to stay separated. So
Right.
I'm not too sure where else we can do this. I'm actually very new to the area myself, so if anybody else has suggestions, that would be great.
Yeah, I think we can also use the what they used to call the GAC at where we pay the water bills. Where they have the Gadsden
I'm
Independent
back,
School
I'm back.
District.
Thank you.
The Gadsden Independent School District school board meetings. I think that if we can, since we do pay school taxes, we should be able to use a school facility to have any of our meetings should we desire. All we have to do is just plan it and coordinate with them, and I believe they should be able to assist us in that process.
So Mary, we're talking about a place that we can actually have events.
I think the only place that we can ask for permission is the, I think it's the church right across, excuse me, the old Dairy Queen. Only because we have used that when we have had larger meetings, or we used to have, I can ask and see if we can have is it a meeting, is it that you wanted, or what kind of event?
We're talking about different areas that we can do fundraising and events, like the enchilada dinner that was brought up in our last meeting.
Right.
Any other kind of fundraising. And Robert suggested I'm sorry, Robert, what was it, a school hall or something? The,
No, well, at first, again, I think we're talking two things here, Esther. We're talking about fundraisers as well as meetings to get the community a little more involved than what we currently are.
okay,
Meetings, I think we can go to the local school district. And then I know they have where they have their boards and everything else, board meetings. That is public buildings, and we should be able to use them as long as we let them know when we want to use them and so on and so forth. That is for meetings itself, just so we can get the community going. And once that happens, then we can then decide as a community, hey, we need more money, we need to do fundraising, and then now we start looking at other locations potentially to hold those events.
The Gadsden Independent School District they charge $25 as a deposit. And then they charge, and this is quite a long ways though. This is about 4 years ago when we used to do some meetings there. They charged at that time $1 per chair. And I think the reason is because the custodians set up for us, or they used to set up. So they were charging $1 per chair. So we would tell them like 50 chairs, or, you know, because we used to do them at the high school. There is I guess a little application that we have to fill out, and which we've done it, you know, that's no problem. But now with the COVID, I don't know if they are allowing for that to happen. And then of course we used to pay like at the beginning when we did this, we used to pay that $25 deposit. I don't know how much that is now. It could have gone a little bit up. Like I said, the chairs were $1 per chair. I don't know if it is the same price. I haven't called the Gadsden Independent School District on this for quite some time, because we started using the old Dairy Queen, and of course that was free. And then we started to use the church, and of course that was free too. So I don't know if those prices have gone up with the independent school district. And as for CRUA, with the water board, they do have quite a large, I guess, meeting room there, but they didn't allow us to do that. They only do their board meetings there. Any other political, just like the fire station, they don't allow anybody to do any type of meetings like that at all.
yeah, that's what Robert was asking, if we could do it in the fire station, but I had recalled in the earlier meetings that they didn't want us to do meetings there.
Yeah, Wayne
And,
doesn't want any political meetings there at all whatsoever. They'll do HOA meetings if need be, but any political or like what we are, right? We can't do it there. He just doesn't give permission for that.
But correct me if I'm wrong, Mary, isn't that the same place where the Gaston Independent School Board has their school board meetings? Unless they changed, but it's the same location, and it's, you know, we paid water bills as well as we pay school taxes. So I don't see, to be honest with you, I don't see what the problem would be us having a meeting there. If they're charging us $25, okay, well, I understand. But versus going to a school, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because we didn't know how many people would attend, and in the CRUA, I guess in the CRUA board meeting room, only about 100 people could be at a time. But now with the COVID, I don't know how separated they do the chairs, and I don't even know if they are doing actual people that can go. I don't know if it's only by Zoom. I really don't know. But the CRUA board and so Gadsden, if I'm not mistaken, they're both together, Gadsden and CRUA, so they use the same board room. But we never used the board room. We only used Santa Teresa cafeteria for our meetings. And that was only because we had a lot of the times more than 50 people. And CRUA did not want us to go in as a political, because both CRUA and Gadsden are owners of that, or at least share
the responsibility of that particular boardroom.
So Mary, I'm gonna kind of loop you back to the beginning because there's several people that just joined in, and we kind of we did the update on the hearing quite earlier in the meeting. So for the people who just joined in, do you mind redoing a recap on that?
You're talking about the brief that
The
was submitted?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. So the brief was submitted yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, at 5 p.m. Normally lawyers like to really submit them at the end. The brief was a continuation of the appeal, which was a one-pager. It was more in brief as to why we want to become a city and why we were appealing, or why we're appealing. And it just really breaks down the reasons. And then, of course, that's where they normally connect other cases from other states just to make the brief more credible when the lawyers submitted that. So on that note, we already have an assigned date for the hearing that is going to be in the Third Judicial Court in January. And again, I'll say that Esther has that already, I believe, downloaded and attached to our PGOSTNM.org, to where you can go and print it out and put it in your refrigerator, because that's very important. We need a lot of people to go into that Google meeting, because the more people that go and are really attending, the more that it shows that the community of Santa Teresa wants to be a city. So it's important that a lot, and it's going to be on Google, so you can attend from your dining room or your office, and it's on January. Can you sort of, I forget the date, Esther, is it the 11th, I believe?
Yes, it's January 11th, 2022 at 2 p.m. And this notification is on our website that you can download, or just, it's going to be up there. So if you need to go back to it, you could always go back to the website, but it is through Google Meets.
Right, right. And so that's very important that as many residents of Santa Teresa attend, because I think that the judge will see that we're not only 30 residents that are interested in becoming a city. You know, when we did our petition to become a city, we got over 1,000 signatures. And since then, I don't know where those 1,000 some odd people are. You know, they signed the petition to become a city, and only a few hundred have really stuck with us, and now only a few less than 100. So we need to get that interest back to where residents know that we really, really are almost there, but we need the support. We really do. That's the only way that I think we will become a city, is we get this interest back that we want to become our own city. That's the only way we're going to get roads fixed. That's the only way that our taxes will not go up. So there's a lot of benefit in becoming our own city.
So the next thing I think that we actually need to do, now that we have the website up, now that we have the meetings online where more people can participate, I think the next thing that needs to happen is actually creating a flyer with objectives, talking points, and maybe a QR code to have them sign up for these meetings. And then just do an awareness throughout the neighborhood and pass out these flyers. What are your thoughts about that?
If we can if we can pass out flyers and talk to as many residents as, and I'm just going out and walking, I'm just saying maybe you're watering one day and your neighbor from across is out there, you know, and you attended the city, I mean, the meeting, that would be great if you can sort of just chit chat and let them know what's going on. That's what I mean by, you know, actually talking to your neighbor and letting them know that you're attending these meetings and why aren't they? You know, this is important for all of us, not just for a few of us. And the more involvement that we get, the better it is going to be for all of us, really for all of us. Any questions on that at all?
Sounds like a good idea. Flyers could work.
I'm sorry, is that you, Daryl?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yes. So do you like that idea, Daryl? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the idea sounds great with flyers. If we can get one put together and we can distribute them.
Yeah, I think that, you know, you don't have to walk it if you don't want to, but if you see your neighbor from front or from the side and he's not attending or she's not attending, it would be good to know why. Why not? Are they informed or they're not informed, or do they know that we even have this website? Or where in this website, Esther has done a very tremendous job. She gives dates and times and history, and really it's a self-explanatory. Am I right, Esther?
Yeah, I believe these talking points, what I might do is put together this flyer or this talking points. That way the message stays consistent.
Yeah.
Because just moving into this area, when I first moved in, I was hearing different stories from different people and it was so confusing. And that's why I started attending the meetings, because I wanted to make sure that I got the correct information. So with these talking points, I think the message can stay consistent and people don't get lost within the conversation.
Right.
So,
yes. And I think it also encourages people to ask what there may be or are scared to ask. You know, I mean, questions and comments are always welcome. And I'm not saying everybody is for the city. I'm not, but I am saying that that the majority, at least 80 or 90% of the people that at least I've talked to, are in favor of the city. And when they know what the city will give back to its residents, I think that they will understand that it's good to become a city instead of going to a city already that is in the red. Going to a city that really is not going to take care of us, that is just going and is interested in our rooftop taxes, but it's not going to take care of the roads, because just to fix the artery roads is about $6 million. And that was on the last quote that we got in 2016. And the city of Sumner Park, its whole revenue or its whole budget is $5 million a year. So I'm fixed roads. 2015-16, it was $6 million just to fix the artery roads in Santa Teresa. So it's very important that monies come into play, because cities don't survive just like that. But when there are grants, when there is the government or the federal government and the state government that is supporting that, that's important to know that the state government is willing to help you, but it needs residents to get involved. Otherwise, they don't see any interest, and that's when they walk away, guys. Any
Right.
questions?
I just, can you hear me? It's
Yes.
Betty. And
Yes.
I think since we now have this wonderful, wonderful website, I think that's going to really help us get people involved, because there's a place for them to go. And I think every time we should do, this is just an aside maybe, but if we all had little cards, even just with the logo and the website, so people, you know, we could hand it to them and say, here's where all your questions will be answered, and you'll see the
Right.
agendas for the meetings and everything.
I think that if, and Esther, I'm going to go back to you because you're such a good tech on media, social media and all of that. If you would like to sort of like design the cards just one card and send it to me, and I will make some copies at the Office Max and we can just pass them out. I mean, that, you know, and Betty is right. Betty can, you know, that was great because like Esther says, she started to attend these meetings because a lot of people say and comment, but really this is where the truth is said. I mean, and I think that he's trustworthy because I'm not going anywhere, guys. I've lived here for so
Mary,
long.
I can walk again and go many houses and give him the little card. I can do that. You know how
Okay.
I walked and I've been all over? I can do that. I can do that. Serves as my exercise in going to knock at people's door. You know?
Okay. Yeah.
So every evening I can go and do that and give him a card each household. If we get, you know, if we get the cards.
Okay. And with if we can do that, Esther, that would be great. And then, like I said, send me the design with the website with my phone number, and then, you know, people can walk and, or Mr. Montoya, you can have one, you can have some, and then you can just give it to your neighbor and tell them, here, you know, this is where your answers, your questions will be answered.
So our meeting, our time meeting is going to end here really quick, so we have to wrap it up.
Okay.
What I can do is create a postcard, a flyer, and actually I'll upload it onto our website where people can download it and print it at their convenience.
That is great.
That's
Yes,
good.
that's great.
That's really good.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. Yeah, because we, you know, I don't know how many people are attending, but we really don't have money to really splurge. We're paying our lawyers. We still are paying our lawyers. And, you know, I thank everybody that has given us donations, but we still need donations. It's very important.
I have to take you one, some, Mary, from me and my sisters. I have to call them. My Norma said she'll be ready. So if anybody else can, I mean, you know, I'll ask, I'm not gonna ask again. I'll ask Mariel again, and I'll ask Raul again, and whoever I can.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mrs. Chaparro.
I mean, you know, because we need.
Yeah, we need to continue to pay. I mean,
We
they
need to
really, that's
continue.
the bottom line. We still
Yeah.
owe.
Yeah. And if you think about it, for us being such a small group, we've gone a long ways. We've gone a
Yeah.
long ways.
Yeah,
We've
we
done
really
a
have.
lot.
Yeah,
a lot
we really
for-
have. So Esther, do we have time, or are we almost there?
We are almost up with time.
Okay.
So let's kind of wrap it up, and then if on the email that we sent out, there's a link where you can ask questions. You can go back to that and ask a question. I have a question from Louis, but I'm going to have Mary answer that question by email, if that's okay, Louis. His mic wasn't working. But again, we'll be sending out maybe a survey as well, just to get an understanding on what the community knows and what they
Okay.
don't know.
Remember this.
That's great. Okay, well, thank you so much for attending, and
We lost
thank you so
Mary.
much. And
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you,
thank
Mary.
you. Bye.
Thank you, Esther.
Esther, thank
Esther.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Daryl, it
Bye.
was good to hear you, even if I couldn't see you.
Next time.